Today, we're going to deconstruct one of the most powerful poems about grief ever written, W.H. Auden's Funeral Blues. Seriously, this is a poem that doesn't just talk about sadness, it commands the entire universe to shut down and pay attention. So let's dive in.
Right from the first line, the poem doesn't ease you in. It hits you with these sharp, absolute commands. Stop all the clocks. Cut off the telephone. We are immediately thrown into a crisis. The normal hum of life has to stop, right now. And that just begs the question, why? What on earth could be so huge that it justifies stopping time itself?
To get to that why, we've got to look at these first couple of stanzas. The speaker's raw, first instinct is to force the entire outside world to reflect what they're feeling on the inside. You see, they're not just feeling grief, they are trying to orchestrate it on a global scale.
And what's so fascinating here is how the first stanza almost lays out a procedure, like a formal checklist for mourning. Step 1, silence the ordinary sounds of life, clocks, phones. Step 2, get rid of anything joyful, like music. And finally, Step 3, begin the public ritual, bring out the coffin. It's as if this personal grief is now an official state event, and the whole world must participate.
And just look at how things escalate. In the first stanza, the commands are small, they're domestic, things you could almost imagine doing yourself. But then in the second, they blow up into these huge, impossible public spectacles. We go from silencing a dog to demanding that even the traffic cops put on mourning gloves. The grief is spilling out, It just refuses to be contained in a private space.
And this? Wow. This is the peak of that demand. The speaker literally wants their private, personal loss to become a public headline, written across the entire sky for everyone to see. It's an incredible image, right? The pain is so big, it needs the sky itself to be its canvas.
So, after all these massive, world-stopping demands, the poem makes a crucial pivot. The third stanza, this is the emotional core. This is where we finally get the answer to that big question we started with. Why? Why does all of this have to happen?
Just listen to how completely all-encompassing this is. The person who died wasn't just a part of the speaker's life, they were the speaker's life. He was the compass that gave direction, the calendar that structured time, every moment from noon to midnight. He was literally everything.
And then we get this line. It's so simple, so blunt, and it's an absolute gut punch. This is the reason for all of it. It's not just that a person is gone. It's that a fundamental belief that love was permanent has just been shattered. The very foundation of the speaker's world has turned out to be a lie.
So what Auden is describing here is this idea of a total love. It's when a single person becomes the organizing principle for your entire reality. They're your map, your clock, your sense of purpose. So when you lose that person, you don't just lose them, you lose your own direction. You are completely and utterly lost.
Okay, so with the why now made devastatingly clear, the poem takes one final breathtaking turn. The grief, having explained itself, now explodes outward again. But this time, it's not just demanding silence on Earth, it's demanding the complete and total demolition of the entire cosmos. And the dismantling begins. The logic is heartbreakingly simple. If the speaker's own personal light has gone out, then all the other lights in the universe are pointless. Actually, they're worse than pointless. They're an insult. The stars are no longer beautiful. They're just a painful reminder of a world that keeps going on without the person who mattered.
And the commands get so cosmic, they almost sound casual. Pack up the moon. It's like the speaker is just tidying up after a party that ended in tragedy, putting away decorations that don't mean anything anymore.
And there it is, the ultimate source of light and life. Just take it apart. It's no longer needed. The speaker's logic is absolute. If my world has ended, then the world must end too.
And this is where it all lands, the final, desolate conclusion. The world isn't just to be paused, it's to be thrown out, poured away, swept up like trash. That last line is a final judgment on reality itself. It's not just that things are bad, it's that goodness is no longer even possible. It's the absolute end.
So let's just step back for a second. We've been on this incredible journey of grief. What is it about the structure of this poem that makes it so unbelievably powerful? How does it actually communicate this feeling of total loss so perfectly?
Well, you can think of the poem's structure like an hourglass. It starts wide at the top, right, with these huge public commands. Then it narrows down to that single, intensely personal point, the why.
And from that tiny point of pain, it explodes back out, becoming so massive it wants to destroy the entire universe. That structure isn't just a clever trick, it perfectly mirrors the actual psychological journey of a devastating loss. And all of this leaves us with a pretty profound question, right? How can words, which are finite, ever really measure a loss that feels infinite? Well, maybe the genius of this poem is that Auden doesn't just tell us about grief, he makes us feel its scale. Through this incredible structure, he enacts the devastation right on the page, from a silent telephone all the way to a dismantled sun.